Welcome back. We're talking about the impending announcement to be made tomorrow by the Minister of Basic Education. Teacher unions and school associations have been involved in those ongoing talks with the Department of Basic Education on how teaching and learning would be carried out should and when schools reopen. The Department of Basic Education is still engaging various stakeholders on the state of readiness for schools to resume as of the 1st of June. Minister Angie Motshekga, as I said, expected to give an update on the preparations for the reopening of schools on Monday, but ongoing consultations resulted in a postponement to Tuesday tomorrow. Mugwena Maluleke is the General Secretary at the South African Democratic Teachers Union. He joins us now. Very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us, Mr. Maluleke. We're just speaking to NAPTOSA's Basil earlier on, and he was saying that as far as they're concerned, though there has been consultation, they believe it could have been better. Where does SADTU stand with this?
Good evening, and good evening to your viewers at home. We are wanting to share the same sentiments as shared by Basil, that this consultation would have been done better. However, it has been very difficult given the fact that you negotiate or you consult at national level, you make submission that would help to resolve the issues. However, you start seeing different provinces doing different things that begin to undermine the very same process and the spirit of consultation at the national level.
What are they doing that you believe is undermining the process, and why do you believe they are doing this?
You're given an assurance and an undertaking by the Department of Education at national level that, look, the schools will be ready to receive the SMT, which is called School Management Team, on the 11th. We say no, it is not going to happen because your provinces have not cleaned the school, they have not procured the necessary essentials, and then the provinces themselves start issuing different circulars on the same matter, others saying they're ready, others are saying they're not ready. So you get confused, actually, that what exactly are you doing at national level where you're supposed to be drawing a framework that could help the provinces to really be ready for the workers to come. So since the 11th and the 18th is today, we are receiving reports that teachers are going to school, but there's no screening, there are no essentials that are there. The principal are just panicking. They're doing that because they're afraid to save their jobs. So basically what we are saying is that the consultation at national level has been undermined by the provinces because they're not complying with COVID-19 regulation. They're not complying with the Occupational and Health and Safety Act. So, yeah, we could have done better if we were working together and they were collaborating with the national.
So I want to talk about some of the schools themselves. Not all schools are equal, especially in terms of infrastructure. If there are no essential support staff to help clean the schools, and there also is the issue of some schools who say the schools themselves are not finished in terms of buildings. So it is impossible to say the schools have been cleaned and sanitized. So surely that disrupts the whole exercise, the whole program?
It does. However, we had been saying this for some time now, to say the department is supposed to take time to ensure that these particular things that are for compliance purposes are done. Because it's not us who are sitting in those particular meetings where they make regulations. These are the politicians who make the regulations. The Minister of Labour and Employment makes those particular regulations and say each and every employer must make sure that at the workplace there is safety, progression.
Okay. There's safety and progression. I want to ask this question, especially with regards to substitute teachers. These would have been put in place, especially in places where there are teachers with comorbidities who have to work from home. Is there any movement or evidence of this happening in some of those schools?
Well, now only after the meeting on Saturday, which we had a workshop where we were workshopped about what we must look for and how best they are going to be handling these confidential matters. So far, we had a doctor who was workshopping us so far. But again, it happens after they have said that people must report at school. So yes, there is going to be a process of how those who have got these comorbidities are going to be assisted. They have to go to the doctor, and the doctor will have got to complete a particular form, making sure that everything is detailed there, but also respecting the confidentiality between the doctor and patient when you declare. It is also a responsibility, of course, of any other person to really declare, because if you don't declare, you can find yourself in a very vulnerable situation because of the virus. So therefore, the processes, we were promised that there will be a protocol that we will receive that will then be able to guide the department. However, we have seen that they have sent the guidelines from the Department of Health to all the provinces, and we also have received it on Saturday. We also have shared it where it details what type of a morbidity will then compel you to work at home.
Mr. Maluleke, I must ask this question. It seems there are schools who've already sent out communicate to parents saying that 1st of June school will reopen, and it's not just grade 7s and 12s. They're talking about the whole school, down from grade 1 up to grade 3, etc. Is this regular? Would this work even if, according to the guidelines, they've been met? And the suggestion from the DBE is that it's grade 7 and 12. In other words, are schools empowered to open up the whole school if they believe that they meet the criteria?
If the school meet the criteria in terms of safety precautions that have been taken into account, and if they are phasing in grade 12 and grade 7, you will then be able to have the whole school and have this social distancing, or what we call physical distancing, that must be adhered to in the classroom as well as in the playgrounds where the learners will be taking their lunches and so forth. So the issue that we must still address is that, as I was trying to answer your earlier question, there was interference. It is that, yes, the schools are not the same. However, the time that we required and what we have advised the minister, we were told that there will be people employed to help in this particular instance where the schools do not have support staff. They will be employed, and therefore those people will be there. So clearly it is that the time when the schools are going to be welcoming all the grades, we are told that they will be at 50% capacity so that it allows these social distance, because the WHO says that we cannot compromise on social distance because that's the only weapon that we have against this particular virus. So yes, if the schools were to open, we're not sure because the minister has not made a determination in terms of a school calendar. The grade 12 and grade 7, there would be that particular social distance, and therefore with the number of teachers that are there, they will be able to can really train the learners and train themselves to be able to live with this, because we don't know how long this virus is going to be.
But my question is, does that mean that the whole school can open, not just grade 7s and grade 12s?
No, the whole school cannot open. It just cannot open. Under the circumstances, it will be too risky for the whole school to be reopened, because the teachers have not been trained in terms of how they handle this matter. The learners themselves will be so many in that particular school that you will not have social distance, and you will not have even implemented any hygiene program for all the learners. All right. They will not cope. They will not cope.
Thank you so much for your time, Mugwena Maluleke, General Secretary of the South African Democratic Teachers Union, SADTU. So if you are a parent, you've received such notice, or you have concerns around this, of course, as SADTU General Secretary says there that the Minister will make the announcement only tomorrow. So that's when we get the official word. But do reach out to us. Let us know what you've been told, what your concerns are, so that tomorrow we can deal with those. In other news,